Hey guys, I'm Paco the Realtor. 16 years of experience, helped over 200 families buy and sell the American dream. I'm a local expert, I'm a professional, and I take care of my clients. I pride myself in educating my clients, and I'm also really sarcastic and a storyteller. So why don't you guys get to know me? We're live.
Hi, I'm Congressman Takano, and with me is Paco Licea, who is the past president of the Realtors Association here in Riverside County. And he's also a current board member of the Realtors Association. But Paco has developed a real keen understanding of what's in the CARES Act. He's been following this legislation as we've developed it. And he, as a small businessman, he's noted the key points. And Paco, your small business expertise is well appreciated by me, and together we're going to try to inform people about what's in this bill. So, just based on what you've been watching, what do you see?
Well, thank you, Congressman. I think we're still lacking a lot of the details, so I think we're definitely going to have to follow up on a later phone call when more of the details come out. I definitely love that and I thank you and your colleagues for getting out in front of this because this is really getting out in front of everything, and cash flow right now, and cash is king, and a lot of the things that you're doing are actually helping us out. So with your permission, there's a few things that have come out. Some are already live and some are not. So I'd like to start with what's already live, if that's okay with you, and then we'll run into the other stuff.
Yeah, well, as a small businessman, you've been checking it out. So we know that there has to be, they're still rolling it out. The legislation was just passed and signed into law last Friday, just
Right.
like, that's 5 or 6 days ago. But you've been out snooping around and seeing what's available to small business.
That's correct.
So why don't you give us a report?
Yeah, no problem. So the first one I want to start with is the small business debt relief for current or potential SBA loan or grants. That one is available now. That is a first come, first serve. When they run out of money, it's done. And I'm actually going to show you how easy it is. We want to make sure you get in the queue now, because the longer you wait, the less the opportunity to get the money. So I'm going to share the screen here with the Congressman here real quick, and then I'm going to show you. So Congressman, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, and where did you go? SBA.gov?
So if you look at the top left, I went to SBA.gov, so SBA.gov. So I went to SBA.gov. This is the front of the page. If you look at the top, in big yellow, coronavirus, COVID-19, apply for economic injury disaster loan. All you have to do is click on that, and it takes you directly into the application itself. It's actually 3 pages long. It's extremely simple, and it's going to ask you, the only thing is it asks you what your eligibility is. Are you less than 500 employees? Are you a sole proprietor, owner, operator, or independent contractor? It's going to ask a few things. Also, nonprofits qualify for this. So as you know,
that's a huge innovation, nonprofits. And just to be clear, the person who cuts my hair or the person who drives a Lyft or Uber, that's a sole proprietor probably.
That's right. They are considered independent contractors now. They are technically independent contractors, but yes, they all qualify now. Now, before we could not qualify for any of this. Now we do. So independent contractors, self-employed, sole proprietors, partnership corporations, as long as you have less than 500 employees, and nonprofits. And this is important for the following reason. Like, for example, I sit on a board at NCI Mariachi Academy. We have 120 kids. We employ 4 full-time music teachers. And we still kept them on payroll because they have to make a living, but now we can't take any income because we can't teach any of the kids in person. So this is ideal for us, for the nonprofit, just to carry them over for 60 days till we can have classes again. So it's very easy. You choose what your eligibility is. You scroll down and make sure that you don't own child support, that you don't, there's certain guidelines you got to do. The second page here, I'm not going to fill it out for you, but the second page here is actually the basics of the business. Are you a sole proprietor? What's the name? What was your gross last year? What was your expenses? And then the very last page, which is very important, it's going to ask you for your checking information already. You have to complete the whole application or you don't go in the queue. And it's very important that you guys do that. So again, very easy, sba.gov. Make sure you go to the COVID Economic Injury Disaster Loan application on the very top and get in the queue. This is one of the programs that once they run out of money, Congressman, there is no more. It's first come, first serve.
So these are disaster loans. That's different than the disaster emergency injury grant.
Right. And they both kind of work the same. The difference between, okay, so one thing about the SBA loan is that it's not personally guaranteed. So let's start there. If you run a business and have gotten a loan from the SBA, unless you have the assets, you have to personally guarantee every loan. They're not asking for a personal guarantee on this. So it is extremely important people understand that, because somebody might thinking like, well, I didn't qualify before, so why would I qualify now? This is completely different. They're waiving all those conditions that they normally have because they need to get the cash in your account to maintain your business. And that's the important thing. Now, there is the grant you're talking about. That one is a little different in that it works with what we call the Paycheck Protection Program. And what it is in essence, I'm getting 2.5 times as an employer my monthly payroll. So if I have $10,000 a month in payroll, they'll give me 2.5 times to maintain my employees. If I use that money to pay my payroll, so my employees have income, whether they're working or not, because the whole point is to give it to them, pay my rent. Let's say I rent a commercial building. I'm a restaurant and I have a commercial building, pay my rent. If I use it for those, they forgive the loan. If I
forgive it?
Yes. If I don't use it for that and I use it for others, I now must pay it back. We still don't know the details. It looks like it's over 2 years, 0.5% interest, which is almost nothing. Either way, it's a good program. But the point of this one doesn't go live till April 3rd. The point of this program is to make sure that you keep your employees employed. And that's the point. It's not to pocket the money, it's to keep your business going.
Well, of course I knew it converts to a grant. I mean, I knew that much. And I know that it starts out as a loan.
Yes.
And they calculate the loan based on the size of your payroll. You get 2.5 times the size of your payroll. And if you use the money coming in, if you keep at least 90% of your employees, and you keep paying them over a period of time, that loan becomes a grant.
That is correct.
So, all right. And
actually, Congressman, I actually found something that you might find interesting. They actually have a sample application. So I'm going to show it. This isn't, we can't fill anything out yet, but this is something for people to see what they're going to be asking. And I've looked at it. It's almost identical to the one I showed you earlier, where it's very simple. So let me show you. Okay. So are you able to see my screen, Congressman?
I am. I'm able to see it.
So the Paycheck Protection Program application form. So this is a sample of what the SBA is going to be putting out. Again, nonprofits qualify, self-employed, very important, independent contractors, very important, all the small businesses, they qualify. So if I own a salon and I have girls or guys that cut people's hair and they're not working, so you put in your information here, and here is what you were talking about, Congressman. Average monthly payroll, I would put here, times 2.5 equals the loan amount, and then they're going to ask you how many employees you employ. And then are you going to use it for payroll, rent, or utilities? These are really the three that you have to use in order for it to be converted to a grant. You have to pay it back. But if you don't, then you have to. And then obviously ask about ownership, who owns the businesses. And this is the actual application. This is all we have right now. It's going to go into how you do your payroll. I'm sure they're going to ask some kind of verification in it to verify. Like I use a payroll company, so it's very easy for me to prove. Other people do not use payroll companies. They use it from their cut it directly from their account themselves. But they'll ask for a few things. But this is the application. It's not live yet, so there's nothing really for me to give you. It's just a sample, but I figured it'd be nice for people to see that it is a simple application. And again, I applaud you guys, because SBA did make it easy, because if you've ever gone through an SBA loan, it can be very complicated.
Yes, well, I appreciate those kind words. this is going to be a short introduction. We're going to be doing more of these videos and more workshops in the community to walk our small business people through all of this. Let's talk about the taxes, the tax benefits that are in the CARES Act. We have a refundable payroll tax credit. We have a deferment on an employer's share of payroll taxes. And we have an offset of the 100% taxable income with the carryback losses. Let's kind of talk a little bit about each one of those real quick.
Sure. So the refundable payroll tax credit covers 50% of wages paid to employees for employers that suspend the operation. So in essence, as you know, as employers, there's a payroll tax paid. Every time we pay our employer, there's a percentage. So what they're doing to us is by covering these expenses, they're helping us really give all the money that we get over. Now all that money is going to the actual employee as opposed to part of it going to pay the payroll taxes. So it'll cover up to 50% of the wages paid to the employees for employers that suspend. Here's the key. Operations or see over 50% drop in receipts. So if you're a fully functioning company, this will not apply to you. If you didn't shut your doors, this will not apply to you. But this would apply to every restaurant that had to shut their doors that only does takeout, because I guarantee the receipts are less than 50%. So that's huge because it helps cover those people that are currently trying to keep us alive. The other one that's big is the deferred payments on employer share of payroll taxes. As you know, a lot of us have to pay payroll taxes monthly or quarterly. Now I'm allowed to put that off till third or fourth quarter, which gives me the cash flow to utilize to my employee, to keep my doors open, to use that cash, because right now cash is king. And I need the cash to be able to keep my doors open. And so both of these are aimed at the employer, making their life so much easier on the tax side of it.
Wow, that's really a great explanation, Paco. So you know what? I'm going to just kind of refer people to local chapters of the Small Business Development Center, the SBDC, the Women's Business Center, or the WBC, or SCORE, and SCORE Mentorship. They're offering free counseling and low-cost training to support small businesses with up-to-date information regarding COVID-19 relief programs for small businesses. You can identify these resources via the SBA's website at sba.gov/local assistance/find. So, you know what? I want to just kind of close by letting you know that I got off a 2-hour call with a conference call with the Democratic caucus, and you know, the members of Congress all have questions about how we can educate our constituents, our small business people, about what's in the CARES Act for them. But I want you to know that we're very clear that this is not the final say and final word. As much as we are doing to help small business, you know, tide themselves over through this pandemic patch, we still know that there's probably more to be done. Not probably, there's more to be done. What's being talked about is addressing the salt taxes. And in California, salt taxes hit us pretty hard. So, you know, that's on the table. I'm not saying that we're going to solve it, but I think I'm going to fight hard to make sure that that Californians who really, with the last tax bill, pretty much were hurt pretty hard. That's something that you know, people want to buy homes. You know, the salt taxes affected them. So I want you to know that we're still working hard on you know, other forms of relief that, you know, still need to be addressed.
And you know, I appreciate that, Congressman. And I think you nailed it earlier. As more information comes out, we'll definitely do a follow-up with more detail once we know the process of exactly how it's going to function. I think a lot of it is unknown, but I think this is a great way to start. But I think the key to this whole thing is, if it's available now, apply, get in the queue, and then as more programs come out, we'll explain the details and where you can go. Do not sit back and wait. We have to be aggressive on this.
That's I'll sign off with that message too. Get in the queue, apply for these programs. Thank you, Paco.
Thank you, Congressman. Thank Hey guys, thanks for watching my video. Hope you love the content. Subscribe below or follow me on social media. Just type Paco the Realtor.